Good morning, everyone. We're going to do this painting of Jane. Jane is a monitor at the classes up in Maine. Does a wonderful job. Nice person. We love Jane. All right, I'm going to let you just watch me draw, those of you that enjoy the drawing part of it. I sped it up a little bit so you don't have to fall asleep while you're watching. But remember, everything's reference, everything's connected to the other size. Measure everything by head, how many heads she is high and how many heads she is wide, and where the angles go, the legs of the angles. Be careful drawing the face, obviously. That's very important. But always start out very light. Notice I usually hold the pencil at the end when I'm starting out so that the pencil marks are very light. And everything you do when you're painting, you always want to start light. Even when you're putting the paint on, you want to go in light at first so you can always correct and go darker. It's much easier to go darker than it is to try to take that paint off. So, all right, I'll let you watch this. Okay, so she has her knees propped up. Notice that line of her knees and where it goes up through her neckline and so forth. That'll help give you the angles. And as I said, if you measure the height, the number of heads, she's got her cute little sneakers on. And I'm going to start with a wash of a light green in the background. This is just a mix of cobalt blue and Windsor yellow. I contacted the company and they suggested Windsor yellow to replace the Aurelian yellow, which we have been using all along. Anyway, big shape of green. Those are the trees behind, and now I'm putting a big wash of phthalo blue up in the left-hand corner there. That's the sky peeking through. And now I mix up a gray for the rock color. Gray is a rose, cobalt blue, and raw sienna. Just to get rid of the white. The white will throw off your values as you're painting if everything looks darker against white. So, all right, a little cad red light, just a pinch of yellow in there, but very light. Going into her face, any flesh tones that is showing. This is, again, just the first coat. A little bit of her leg is showing there. Beautiful position, she's sitting on a rock and reading or working on a journal or sketching. So basically covering the whole face. She's got a piece of light next to her eye that I left, but this is going to dry up very light. And the key to beautiful flesh is flesh tones, is constantly building that color. All right, little raw sienna. She has beautiful golden hair. A lot of light on it, so you can leave that. And she has her hair hanging on the left side there, raw sienna. So we'll get back to all this. Like I say, it's the first coat. A little heavy on the raw sienna here, it's in the shadow of her hair, her golden hair. A little raw sienna. Leave plenty of light, leave plenty of white. You can always cover the white, but it's really important because the sun is hitting her head here. I added just a little touch of cobalt blue to that raw sienna in the shadow areas. So where it's darker, it's sort of a dirty blonde color. So you just add a little blue to that raw sienna. pushing it to the value a little darker under the chin, just to pop the, get that beautiful silhouette of her face. Okay, we'll get back to all this, just getting the first blush on. All right, she's got a beautiful, cool shadow on her body, except where the the light is hitting there, but very beautiful. I'm using cobalt blue, just a pinch of rose, and then a little phthalo blue to offset the other blue. It's always good to have that vibration of blues in there. It works really well. So just spot it in there, let it, just think about the sunlight hitting her as she's leaning over. That's a shadow on her book, on her journal that she's working on. That's all in shadow. She's got white pants on. She's got the white suit on, so she's all beautiful. It's really nice. Okay, some wrinkles in her jeans, and black soles of her sneakers. And nice, it's a gray sneakers. They're a warm gray, so it's raw sienna, a touch of rose and a touch of cobalt blue. Make that warm gray, just pushing the raw sienna a little bit to keep it warm, and leave the soles of her shoes white. Okay, up here it's cobalt blue and Windsor yellow. We're just going to put a coat of green, and you want to vary the greens. So this is cobalt blue with Windsor yellow. You want to add some phthalo blue with a little Windsor yellow, make it nice and dark. You can also add some rose to that, some quinacridone sienna, just a total variety of green. An inch of phthalo blue in there to make it a little brighter, a little darker. You want to push those dark colors against her silhouette so she pops. All right, just covering that whole area. Cobalt blue and Windsor yellow, little phthalo blue with the Windsor yellow. So you just want to be careful around her. Go in lightly, you can get darker. Don't worry about, you're not looking to get all those leaves. And remember, all that stuff is just taking away from our subject, which is this beautiful figure. So you don't want to get all caught up. Just, those leaves are like little hands waving to you. Look at me, look at me. So we don't want them in there. The thing that takes away from your subject is not necessary. If it's in there and it's going to help the subject, if it's going to support it, if it's going to direct your viewer to your subject and what you want to say, that's great. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Don't put it in there. All right, nice and dark. I added a little rose, and also I added some quinacridone sienna there to warm up that dark. We'll get it nice and warm. Just randomly putting darks in here and there and leaving some of that, that yellow and blue light. You want to have some bright greens in there. We put them in the beginning. I used cobalt blue and yellow, but you could use cobalt blue teal and yellow. You can use phthalo green and yellow to get that first wash of green, those bright greens, and leave some of them showing. So, all right, so you can see I'm randomly spotting that those darker colors to give you a sense of the bushes and the leaves. A little bit of darker color on the bottom there. It's the leaves growing, but it's almost like a cast shadow from the leaves. So we'll pull some lines down here, and that helps also to lead the viewer into your painting. So they're good to have there. All right, this is the dark back covers of the journal. Ultramarine and quinacridone sienna. Give it that nice black. I actually kept it a little bit on the bluer side, so push the phthalo blue. So you can see that background, you know, if you give it a little spray, it'll run down. It really gives you a nice effect. You don't need more than that. You really don't need those details. Just popping in the little eye holes in the sneakers there for the laces. A shadow around there. The shadow. There's a bag in front of her with her paraphernalia in it. Like going back a little more red on her face. I like to build it. You know, some artists go in much stronger, but I like to get the tones and the values and the layers of color on a person's skin. I think it gives it a nice glow. So I'm going to do this a few more times. A little warmer around the cheeks and a little more shadow on her neck, and just a shadow on her nose. She does have that piece of light on her below her eye. I'm just filling in the shadows on this bag. The bag is also white, but it has a nice violet shadow on it, and there's a strap hanging down. A little detail on the bag. All right, it's got nice warm tones on her skin here. Shadow. All right, I'm going to close up on her face now. Little shade on her nostrils and on her lips. A little bit of stitching on her clothing. A few dark spots. I'm gonna put some punch into her hair, and then I'll be able to lift it out. And very dark spot on that corner. Beautiful blonde hair glowing. All right, so I'm putting the last layer on her skin, and it looks a little hot, but you'll see it's going to dry, and I'm going to spread it out, and it'll dry perfectly. But you got to give her some color. A little shadow under the nose. Soften that edge, and I'm going to use a little gouache. I'm lifting out some color there. Okay, I really enjoyed doing that, Jane. That's the finished painting. I hope you like it, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it very much, and I will see you again very soon.